Hello, I'm JW, and today we're looking at some antique furniture. Here is the furniture, and as you can see, it's actually a box with fuses inside. There's a number of wires protruding there, and as you see, it's quite a well-made thing, proper dovetailed joints and everything. Has a nice glass lid and some rather ancient fuses inside there. So let's have a closer look inside and see what's actually in there. Now here's the item, and it's in the sort of condition that if you went to an actual auction house and checked in the catalogue, it would be described as found, which really means broken and not suitable for use by anyone. Now, as you can see, it's got this sort of hinged lid here. It's made out of some kind of timber, probably some endangered hardwood from the Amazon rainforest, and a couple of hinges on this side. Notice the actual dovetailed joints there on the corners. So quite a bit of effort went into making this thing. And on this side we've got this little catch here just to secure the thing closed when it was on the wall. Now, this actually came from somebody on eBay who apparently found it in their house under the floorboards when they were doing some renovations. So, actual age of it's unknown, but it's certainly pre-war. We're talking sort of 1940s or earlier, probably a lot earlier. All timber construction, of course. The lid is actual glass, obviously no plastic at the time. And a fairly simple construction. We've got the ceramic bases here with a screw securing it to the timber behind. Brass pieces here for the individual contacts. And the fuses themselves just pull out. They're just basically a ceramic section, a fuse wire through the centre, and these little tiny wing nut things just to secure the wire at the ends. Now there's nothing else in here, literally, it's simply the fuses on themselves. Notice that there's actually, these are common together, so of course this is where the wire would enter. Here is a piece of wire there, that'll be the live obviously. And because of the age of this, it will actually have double pole fusing, so this would actually be the neutral here, and hence the black wire coming out of the back there. Or this one of them anyway. And because in the time it was common to put fuses in both the line and the neutral. This is no longer done, of course, because it has the unfortunate issue if a fault occurs. If the neutral fuse was to blow, then of course the live is still connected, so that could actually still be in a dangerous condition. Double pole fusing in the UK went out in 1955, so this is substantially older than that. Now here's just a closer look at the wiring here. This is all single core. It's a braided cotton outside, and that's a rubber insulation inside there, and it's actually a stranded core. That's copper with a tin coating, or tin copper. If you've got any wiring like this in your house, then it needs to be replaced immediately. The reason being this wire was typically used up to the 1960s, and it typically had a 25-year lifespan. So even if it was put in 1960, we're still sort of 50 years past that date, so it's 25 years past its expected lifespan. The main problem with this stuff is it looks fine, but if you tend to bend it, it crumbles and cracks. Although this particular example isn't actually too bad. It all depends on where it's been and the environment it's been kept in. Usual failures on these are things like light fittings, where the heat causes the rubber to dry out, and then obviously it just crumbles away, leaving the bare wires exposed. Now a close look at the fuses here. Incredibly simple design. It's simply just two pieces of ceramic. The back plate here, which is just one piece, and the fuses, which again are another single piece of ceramic. Single screw there just to secure it to the background there. That's just a piece of timber. Single wood screw fixing it in place. These little components obviously just fixed through from the back, and the wires obviously coming through the hole in the ceramic and fixed with the screw there. So this is your outgoing circuit here, and that's the incoming power from the back. That'll be the live one in this case. It's got the red covered wire on there. You can see this fuse is obviously blown a number of times in the past due to the extensive amount of blackening in the bottom there, and obviously the wire is still there. It's also being replaced by somebody. This one has fared rather better. It doesn't appear to have actually blown at all. We've got in here what looks like 5 amp fuse wire, so probably this was used for lighting. Again, that's fairly typical because at the time when this was made, sort of pre-1940s, there wasn't really much else you could actually connect with electricity other than lighting, as 99% of electrical appliances hadn't actually been invented yet. So that's really exactly what you'd find. The neutral fuses are exactly the same. And again, these haven't blown, it seems, and again the wire's intact in there. Precisely the same kind of arrangement. And obviously all this copper up here would be live or neutral in the case of this one. So replacing these fuses would be a fairly hazardous thing. Obviously you should turn off the power before going in here, and that's assuming of course that there was somewhere obvious to turn it off at. But certainly safety was not really a consideration with these, and all of this exposed copper around here really would not be acceptable today at all. Now this thing would typically be mounted on the wall in a vertical position, so I presume this would be the bottom, or that would be the bottom, and then you could obviously hinge it open to replace the fuses as and when required. Only 2 circuits of course, and say both probably for lighting, and say as power outlets really probably weren't even installed in the property this went into. It would have just been the electric lights. Of course there weren't any actual appliances to plug in. And this is in a fairly disgustingly filthy state. I will actually be cleaning this up and restoring it to its previous condition, so we can actually get some nice photos of it for the website. But it's quite a nicely well made thing, and say it's obviously a bit of attention to detail went into the manufacture of it. Of course, the sort of things like this you can't buy new anymore, and wouldn't be compliant anyway, as the wooden material, which is obviously combustible, and the glass window, which theoretically would contain the explosion when the fuse blows, but obviously not necessarily. So quite a nice item, but of course totally useless in terms of electrical equipment today. So look there at an old wooden cased fuse box, double pole fusing, and of course all ceramic inside. Safety of course not being a consideration. And as I said, I'll do another video on this when I've cleaned it up and made it a bit more respectable, and do some high-res pictures of that to go on the website as well. But until next time, thanks for watching.